All right, we are recording. All right, hi. They call me Dan, and I am with Mahbod. Correct? Did I say that
Yes,
right?
sir.
Excellent. Okay. The founder of Everipedia, also founder of Genius.com, and yeah, we're here to talk a bit about Steem, if it's viable or not. Talk about Everipedia, and probably leak over to EOS and whatever else. So you have the mic, Mahbod.
Yeah, well, so the embarrassing thing is that I have actually never signed up for Steem, which is really dumb because the first I heard about it was my friend Nick Tomaino, who used to be at Coinbase at the time, was like, yo, you got to get on this site Steem. Everyone's really using crypto. And I thought it was very interesting that the only like actual thing for using crypto I had been on before that was earn.com,
Mm-hmm. I
which
never used that one.
didn't really ever take off. So I thought Steem was really cool, and at the time I had no idea that it would eventually become the inspiration for what I'm working on. Like Everipedia, and large part is born from Steem. It was the inspiration for what we're trying to do with like the staking and the whole concept of rewarding content through crypto. I think Steem is where it all got started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we both agree on a lot of things when it comes to decentralized web, decentralized social media. Wikipedia obviously shouldn't be centralized when, we can go down that rabbit hole, obviously. But so I'm a big fan of decentralizing the web. So, I'm for Everpedia, I'm for Steem, I'm for, even if earn.com somehow got back on the saddle. Whichever one wins is a winner for humans, you think. So, but when it comes to the Steam it and Steem. What are your thoughts there? What makes you think that's not viable?
That's an excellent question. And so basically, most of the people who were using Steemit were using it just for that one site. I think it was the people who are a lot smarter and seeing the next level who are like, it's actually about the token. It's about creating other dApps that function with the same token. So I know one of the users launched DTube, which was functioning on Steem very early on, but it never took off. Like right now, the main place where Steem is used is Steemit. DTube does not have a lot of traction. I don't think there's other dApps that are on Steem. So on IQ, we want to do what the plan was with the Steem. We want to have what we want to start with is the knowledge suite of dApps. So every dApp on the internet where people are contributing knowledge, if you're contributing the knowledge and it's valuable, you would increase your IQ. So right now we have Everipedia, which is like Wikipedia. Eventually, we want to have something like Steemit, which is functioning on IQ. We want to have a prediction market on IQ. We want to have a question and answer platform called IQ&A on IQ. And that's just getting the ball rolling. Ultimately, the ultimate goal would be to cross from knowledge projects to social media and have it so that anytime you're writing something cool on Facebook or Twitter, you're increasing your IQ. And that way we could make IQ into the internet currency. That's kind of that's the $1 trillion vision for what we're trying to do with Everipedia.
Okay. So to your first point, talking about there isn't a lot of traction on DTube. There is a lot of apps on Steem. If you go to State of the dApps, the top 5 are Steem related. You have this, Drug Wars is just a game. Steem Monsters, it ends with NFT tokens, so non-fungibles. There's a thing called soft consensus and hard consensus. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much. I'm not a developer, by the way. I just study it. There's a lot of things you can do with Steem that people don't know. And what's happening right now is they're reducing the cost of running a full node. That's the biggest problem with Steem. Once they because they're going to go from storing everything on RAM to hard disk. And hard disk is much cheaper than storing it on RAM. Once that happens, it's going to be very hard for Steem to die, even if it was to fall down to 5 cents, because running a full node is still cheap. It has a ingrained community, and people are always going to cross post, I think, right? Even if Everipedia and Steemit both become the world dominant decentralized platforms and they're separate, right? You have your own consensus on EOS or however you're going to do it. And then Steem still has its witnesses and what's going on now. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to just post on Everipedia and cross-platform post it on Steam and try to earn rewards on both sites. So when it comes to, I think communities are really hard to kill, and Steam has a really strong community even after this bear market. So it's really dangerous when the full node becomes very, very cheap. You have a strong, loyal community. I don't know. I just see it. I see it hanging around regardless of who's on top. Even, I think it has a chance to come on top. But even if it doesn't, I think it's going to be really scrappy. It's going to be hard. It has a big ecosystem.
Well, when I'm someone who's non-technical and who works in tech, and I'm always dithering on the one hand, I feel like only the technology is important, because like anyone who comes up with the breakthrough technology can build the community. But then on the other hand, the technology is fungible. Once someone figures out the technology, anyone smart can copy it, like how Facebook did with Snapchat. So what really matters is just brand name and community. So it would be really cool to figure out a way, like, if Steam has some kind of technological problem, then from a non-tech person, I'm thinking to myself, just fix the technological problem. Now, obviously, my dream would be if Steam starts functioning on IQ, because they already have this huge community, but we claim like we've figured out some kind of technological hurdle, so maybe we can figure out a deal and just bring them all together. It would also be cool because then we could like reunite Dan Larimer and Steem. That's kind of what I'm trying to do with my own app too. So the first app I worked on is Genius. It tells you the meaning of lyrics. It's one of the biggest apps in the world. And my dream is for Genius to tokenize on IQ. That would be so awesome, because like right now, everyone who's contributing to Genius is just contributing for free.
Yeah, the same argument could be you could always think about bringing IQ over to Steam, because right now the big hurdle with EOS is they have a scaling issue as well. You have virtual RAM that just came out as a separate token. I know Block One's working on I've seen Dan talk a little bit on VRAM, and he's saying, there's going to be other options available down the road. But right now they're sort of in the same bucket. Steam, however, right? I'm not going to be a fanboy and say, okay, just because they have a solution and they're working on it means it's going to be 100%. Still have to see it, test it. But it's in that beta testing. It's getting all the kinks out. They're further along, I believe, unless Block One just pulls a Batman and says, look at what we've been working on, which is very well possible. But I have a little bit more insight on the Steam because they're a little bit more open. It's a smaller team. Block One's, they raised $4 billion. You're not going to go be able to talk to Dan anytime you want to. So just from a technical standpoint, in the near future, it might be cheaper for IQ and more viable to run on Steam with a bigger community. I don't want to say Steam has a bigger community than EOS, because that would be false, because EOS does have more daily active users. But I think Steam has a very strong community. And I do invite you to maybe come into some of the...
There's a difference between users and psycho users. Whenever you're talking about the internet, you say that one user or 1,000 users are equivalent to one psycho user. Like, those can be... And Steam has these psycho users. A lot of them are already into crypto. So they really treat it as a religion. I like the name of IQ. So IQ is one, if you'll allow me to pat myself on the back, I invented that because that was the name of the points for Genius. And I was like, let's call the points IQ. But those weren't tokens or anything. It's just on Genius, when you go and contribute, you get IQ points. And when people upvote your stuff, you get more IQ. So with Everipedia, when we launched it, it was not blockchain or token or anything. We just decided to name the points IQ because we wanted to get users from Genius to come over to Everipedia. So we decided to just give it the same name. But then Brock was the one who came up with the idea for us to be tokenized Wikipedia. And we got a $30 million investment from Galaxy Digital to start that process. And we decided to name our currency IQ. And then now that we're trying to do the lateral move and build other dApps that work on IQ, I'm really, really excited because like my brand name, my invention is catching on. I've always been really interested in the word IQ. Like when I was a little kid, everyone in my family would always be like, oh, you're really smart. Let's have you sign up for an IQ test. You have a really high IQ. And then you hear stuff about like the inventor of IQ was actually racist. And like, it's pretty much consensus by psychologists and education professionals that IQ tests are total nonsense, but it still captures the popular imagination in a certain way. So I think it's, whenever I tell people our cryptocurrency is called IQ, their eyes light up. They're like, wow, that's a really, really good name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a brilliant name, especially for what its use case is. The initial use case being the Everipedia, gain IQ points for contributing your knowledge. Yeah, it's very, very brilliant. So can you talk on a little bit of what you plan to do? Because right now you're currently not on the EOS mainnet. You have a side chain up, right? And are you gonna have your own witnesses or block producers? How's your governance gonna work?
Well, I believe IQ is, I'm not technical, so I don't really know how this stuff works, but I think IQ is built on EOS. It's on top of EOS. And then we have 10 billion tokens. They fluctuate a lot. They're available on some exchanges. And then like Steem, we have inflation every day, and then the writers get paid out of the inflation. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of other things that are copied from Steem, like the staking. We have staking to prevent spam, so that you have to stake a little bit in order to post content in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Steem really they invented the wheel in a lot of aspects when it comes to
exactly. Well, but think about it. Friendster invented social media. Like whoever invented Friendster was a genius. They invented social media. But Facebook is who perfected social media, and that's the company that's worth $500 billion now. So I'm hoping that Steemit's going to be the Friendster, and we can pull it off and have the Facebook. And one of the things that's really important to me is our leader. We have the president of the company is Sam. He's called the Persian Zuck, and this guy's exactly like Mark Zuckerberg. And that's what I think is most important for building a Facebook level company, is having a charismatic, popular among developers, software developer who's kind of going to be the prophet of the project. And who is that for Steemit? It kind of used to be Dan, but now it's not clear how it's going with that. And then also Dan is doing so many different projects, but we have Sam. Sam is committed to Everipedia. He started working on this project basically as soon as he started working, as soon as he finished school. And he's super charismatic. He's doing a really, really good job of recruiting. We're based in Los Angeles, which I think is the best place for the next Facebook. Look, like Snapchat is based in Los Angeles. Tinder is based in Los Angeles. And then with crypto, you have a lot of the developers are kind of in it because they have a libertarian bent. They want to destroy Facebook's monopoly. They want to destroy the power of Silicon Valley. So I think we're in a great location. I think we have a great leader, and we're very well funded. So I think, who's going to be the crypto Facebook? Is Facebook going to be the crypto Facebook? That seems unlikely because, there's creative destruction. Usually when there's a big breakthrough, someone else comes in and takes it over. Is Steemit going to do it? Steemit's got the community. Steemit had first mover advantage, but I think the biggest advantage Everipedia has over Steemit is we have this guy who is a super genius. He's super charismatic. Everybody wants to work for him. He's the next Mark Zuckerberg. He's really, I think he's the smartest person in the entire world.
So comparing Facebook and Friendster to something like Steem and Everipedia, I don't like that because I think, so who owns Steem? The community. You have 20 block producers, and these are block producers. They're called witnesses, but they're the same thing. Mm-hmm. And these people are voted by the community, and the community is very strong, very active, and they vote a lot. I have a proxy, and people proxy to me, so it's a very nice setup system. And in order to stay on top, they have to produce apps. They have to produce for the blockchain. So in a way, it's like having 20 to 21 plus hundreds of others outside fighting for that top spot. They're like 20 CEOs, and they're like putting the chain on their back. Agrode, for example, he's a top 5 witness, very, very active. Him and Yaba B. Matt are actually both, I believe, top 5, top 10 witnesses. They created something called Steem Monsters. No one had to pay them to do this. They just did it because they used the funds they make from producing blocks on Steem to make an app that's going to make Steem more valuable. So with Friendster, you didn't have that. You just, it's like you had wishy-washy people. Like, oh, what's next and shiny? But here you have blood, sweat, tears, people really putting in a lot of work, and they're not just going to roll over when something new comes out. They're going to steal from it. They're going to add to it. With these decentralized communities coming up, it's more than just, it's something that's very hard to explain. It's really crazy how it's unfolding when you think about it, because everyone's sort of an owner now. You have some Steem power, you have some IQ. You know, it's different from having a stock, because you can actually use it to better the platform. If I have a lot of Steem power, I can upvote content that brings people here. Same with IQ, you hold more status, you have more power. It's very interesting. So that's where I see the difference between Friendster and Steem. I think IQ, you're set up, right? You have the funds, you have the publicity, you have the backing. That's awesome. I'd love to see you on Steem. Although I don't hate that you're on EOS, because I'm an EOS holder, right? So, but
well, one thing I would like to see Steem do, one thing I would really like to see Steem do, just because it'll be interesting, is there needs to be a Wikipedia on Steem.
I agree.
Because that's what. So Steem is basically Reddit, and that's cool. It's an interesting place to start giving rewards for content. But the problem is, on Reddit, anything you post is only good for one day. So one way to look at Everipedia is, another way to look at Everipedia is we're kind of like an evergreen Steem. We're trying to pay people for, the content is not just content that's good for a day. It's content that's going to be good for years or even decades to come. So it'd be cool. We love competition. There was one other person on Ethereum who said that they're going to build a crypto Wikipedia. And they ICO'd, and it was a total scam. I don't think they ever even launched a product. But it would be cool if there was another crypto wiki competing with us. Maybe it would keep us more on our toes or something.
Yeah, and I think the ones that work together in competition, meaning making it easy to sign up for IQ sign up through Steem, right? And mesh them together in a way where you can kind of, earn IQ tokens on Steem platforms somehow, earn Steem, by cross-posting. I think the ones that really do that are just going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And people are like, hey, I want to get on this reward because I can earn 3 different tokens, 4 different tokens, because they're all easily connected instead of trying to be islands and shoot it out. Nobody really wins in that aspect. So I can really see some.
Yeah, let's figure it out. I hope you guys can just all negotiate. I would like to see us all come together under one family of dApps and one token, because the real enemy out there is the centralized internet. We can't have this decentralized infighting. We all need to unite against Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, on the one hand, he's my hero. He's the reason why I got into internet and technology in the first place. And I was one of the earliest users of Facebook, and I post on there like crazy. I work for them for free like a maniac. But Zuck has made hundreds of billions of dollars, and it seems like he's stolen it from his users. So it seems like he even knows that something smells incorrect, because he's like one Silicon Valley guy who kind of at least seems to be into crypto. But then the solutions that he comes up with just seem like total scams. Like Facebook coin is not at all decentralized. It like completely misses the forest for the trees.
Yeah, like Dan said, it's just PayPal 2.0.
It is. So we have to take his ass down. I think, I get really excited whenever Dan Larimer hangs out with Sam, the president of Everipedia, because I'm hoping that he's going to see that Sam is our Mark Zuckerberg. He's the crypto Zuckerberg who's going to bring all of this together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I started working. My plan when I left Genius, I just had a brain tumor and I left Genius. I had a lot of equity and it's a huge company. So I was planning to retire. I definitely was not planning to do any other work. And when I found out about Everipedia, I thought the idea of Everipedia was really cool. I got into it because I had wanted a Wikipedia page and Wikipedia had deleted it. They said that I wasn't allowed to have one. So I thought the idea was cool, but the real reason I worked on it was just Sam. I met this kid who, he's the same ethnicity that I am. And I'm kind of a self-deprecating Persian. So normally when I meet Persian entrepreneurs, I expect them to just be someone like me, someone who's non-technical and is just like smart mouth, but is not like actually intelligent. But with Sam, you get someone who's a real genius. He's like Mark Zuckerberg. I was just so inspired to have him build something. And then Brock, when he met with Brock is the one who gave him the idea to build a decentralized Wikipedia. And he's someone who I think really sees Sam's potential. So I'm waiting. I want Sam to be the star of EOS. I'm just waiting until the day when Brendan and Dan Larimer and everyone is just looking at this guy and they're like, he's our Mark Zuckerberg. He's the one who's going to build the crypto Facebook. We've also got Larry on the team. Larry is the founder of Wikipedia, and he's our chief information officer. And he just wrote an essay about how he would decentralize social media, some of the principles that he would look at for decentralizing social media. And obviously, when we start building social media dApps on IQ, we're going to be taking a lot of those to heart. And I know that he's been meeting with a lot of Silicon Valley bigwigs about his ideas. He had a dialogue 2 days ago with the CEO of Twitter. Twitter, I think, is making some really, really interesting moves with allowing payments through Bitcoin Lightning. Maybe someday they'll become the decentralized social. The coolest thing of all time would be if Twitter's on IQ. Like you get retweets and you get retweets and likes and you increase your IQ. That would be my dream come true.
Yeah, that'd be great. I can even see a platform where you can log in and choose what rewards you want to get. IQ, you want to get. That would be the ultimate, right?
Yeah, maybe we should just go back to Bitcoin. My original crypto investment was in Bitcoin. I used to be, before EOS and Ethereum, I was a Bitcoin maximalist. And then Twitter making this move has kind of brought back the Bitcoin maximalist in me. Like if Twitter is willing to go on Bitcoin, then maybe we can all just admit that that's the only crypto we need. And I still hold a lot of Bitcoin, so I'm totally down if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I have Bitcoin as well. When I first started, I was maximalish, and then I learned, and now I'm open. I just want decentralization to win. So I want there to be a bunch of backups. I want there to be a bunch of contenders, because if you only have one that's so far ahead of the rest, that's a security risk in its own. No matter how unstoppable you think Bitcoin is, there's always tomorrow, and you don't know what's going to happen. So I'd much rather have Litecoin, all of these other coins. Why not, right? Have a lot of options, and that's what brings more decentralization, more options.
Yeah, I'm totally non-technical, but the smart technical people who I trust, so far they've said that Lightning seems like a sham, and they're not really pulling it off. They're not going to be able to compete with EOS.
There's a lot of issues with Lightning Network that I hear that need to be solved. I'm not saying they can't be solved, but it's far from a polished product. So.
But my retort is, with enough money, you can fix anything. Like if Twitter is backing it, I'm sure they'll figure out a way to make Bitcoin equal to EOS. One problem I have with Bitcoin, though, is that Satoshi is anonymous. Like I'm saying, I think that in technology, having a prophet, like the big charismatic guy who everyone wants to work for, is a big part of the formula. Like I think Mark Zuckerberg is the reason why Facebook became huge. And with Bitcoin, you really don't have that. You have Satoshi who's anonymous, so it's really hard to be a huge fan of an anonymous dude.
And the thing about Bitcoin, and think about Bitcoin, it's hard to get anything improved. Like it's hard to do anything because no one can. Exactly. You need 99% consensus from a bunch of random people. It's just not going to happen.
It's too decentralized.
Bitcoin's digital gold. I mean, it's digital gold at this point. And I think that if you need a vault truck to secure, $1 billion, then Bitcoin is going to be the best bet.
Well, we shall see. The good thing is I own all of these cryptos, except I don't own Steem. So I should go buy some Steem.
You should buy some Steem. I'm telling you.
Especially right now, everything's cheap.
Exactly. I don't pride myself on anything, but I pay a lot of attention. I focus on EOS. I'm very unbiased here. I'm not paid by Steemit or anything, right? I'm just an unbiased investor trying to make a lot of money like everyone else and see the world change. Steem's an underdog. I'll put my reputation on it. EOS is also an underdog, right? Everipedia is underdog, but Steem gets shat on. People really disrespect Steem, and I think that's a good thing because it's still alive. And then when people say, hey, this thing's not so bad after all. So definitely, have some people look into it, buy you some Steem, power it up, hey, make an Everipedia name on there. It's a good way to promote. Steam's they're not Steem maximalists. There's really no such thing.
We have Everipedia on Steem. I'm not the one who's using it. The other people on my team are obsessed with Steem. Like I'm saying, that's kind of what inspired us to even decentralize our app.
It's amazing. It really is. I mean,
I'm good at marketing. Whenever I think of Steem, I always just think there's a famous rap lyric where he says, Steem on the way to the telly, go fill my belly, T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. So if you're using Steem it and you're like a hip hop fan, you need to eat a T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. That's a famous rap lyric by Notorious B.I.G. Rest his peace.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It would be a good idea for a Steem It T-shirt. If you guys want some T-shirt,
I'm gonna have to steal that one. That's a good one, actually. I like it.
Yeah, I can send you the genius annotation. Maybe you can make it go viral.
Hey, yeah, let's do it. Excellent. Well, hey, like I said, we need to get you on Steem. We need to do this more often. I think that and hey, we'll bring Steem people onto the IQ podcasts or shows and just try to spread this awareness, because we have two communities. They're both big. We're small in the scheme of things, but we're so small to be fighting. It's like work together. Whoever shines, the other's gonna, if it doesn't perform, doesn't perform. And
we have to unite and bring down the evil Zuck.
Exactly. I mean, that's the only chance we have. We got a bunch of people versus a giant. We have to start.
Yeah, it's funny because Zuck has been my enemy for 7 years. It all started. I tried to give him a Rap Genius T-shirt, and he said he didn't want my T-shirt.
No.
Yeah. I had to bring him down. If you won't take my startup T-shirt, I have to take you down. Sorry.
Hey, that goes for advice. That goes for a little advice. Always accept people's gifts. You create a hell of an enemy.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Or don't look a gift T-shirt in the mouth.
Yeah. All right. Well, sure. I think we covered everything. You want to talk about anything else before we kill it?
It's been a pleasure, man. I'm really excited. But I promise you, I'm going to sign up for Steem It, and also I'm going to invest in some Steem. You've inspired me. So
excellent.
Thank you very much. And it would be amazing if someday it all comes together. But I just hope we use my token, because I think IQ is a cool sounding name for a token. People will think that.
I hope it's the best.
People will think that if you buy it, it makes you smarter. So rich people will be like, all these rich people are paying money for their dumb kids to go to college. Rich people will be buying IQ for their kids. They're like, maybe if I give my dumb kids enough IQ, they'll be smart.
That's funny. Yeah, you got the name down. You got the team. You're gonna do it.
Yeah, well, it's great talking to you, man. Please come. Next time you're in LA, come chill with us. We're right by the beach.
Yeah, and we'll be up there before too long, probably next month. So I'll give you a ring.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
All right, peace, homie.
Peace.